None of you really look like you have the brains to even read one of those scrolls, even if I put down the easiest spell on it.
I think also, given this dragon just seems to enjoy the tussle of combat, I think that she's more likely to come around if we meet her on her terms in such a way.
Alright, let's just go beat a dragon.
I'm totally not excited about fighting a dragon.
I'm gonna chuck the wizard my share of the gold.
It gets caught midair by something. You can't see it. And sort of carried onto his desk and just put down. How much did you give him?
Well, there's 4 of us, so 125 gold.
Alright.
150, sorry.
I'll toss in the same.
Stop kick.
It's pretty steep. Oh, you love money, man. I spent all my money on this axe.
Oh my god. You still owe me, you bastard. Do I have to cover you for this as well?
Cover me 50. Please.
Cover the 50? Alright, I will cover the goddamn... I don't even know how much you owe me, for God's sakes.
Neither do I.
Oh, great. Great. Bloody barbarian. Fucking... You know what? Just buy me a bunch of bloody ale the next time we're in an inn. Call it even.
That might take a while.
Hey, Nebulos, man. Thank you so much for the tip, dude. We are definitely going to kill a fucking dragon, man.
Oh, alright.
We also have queries as regards to the sahaguin.
He just nods. Waits for you to continue.
We have gained some information that suggests that they may have summoned an avatar of their goddess, or something that they certainly believe to have been the case. We're wondering if you may have any knowledge or insight as to this matter.
He thinks for a bit. And he says, well, I have to be honest, I never much bothered with the gods and their followers. They are usually more trouble than they are worth. But, I do remember reading a few books here and there that avatars are generally only summoned A, for big occasions, like a war, and B, they claim that they have the power to bolster the troops around them. I'm not sure if that is actually making them stronger or just the seeing their god be with you, you know, gives them just a mental boost where they feel stronger and are fighting better. But I don't have too much knowledge about the matter. I can look into it if you want to.
I'm not sure how much time we'll have. The sahaguin are marching on the lizardfolk now.
Give me a perception check.
Ah, how do I do that and roll 20 again? Right. Perception, was it?
Yes. Alright. Every question you've asked, or everything you've said until now, it seems that he already knew the things you were talking about. You know, it seems that he already knew about the dragons. He wasn't surprised when you talked about Granny Nightshade or anything. But now you actually get the feeling that the sahaguin marching on the lizardfolk, he did not know that. Like, he is very much trying to hide it, but you get the feeling that he was not aware that they are either starting a war or that, you know, they are already that far. like he didn't expect that. But he doesn't say anything, you know.
Yeah.
Just sort of shrugs.
What concerns us is if this avatar does actually walk with the sahaguin, we may not have the means to actually counter. Lizard folks most likely lose this war.
Well, from what I've been reading, all it takes is, you know, a good stab with one of those crude things you all are carrying about. And he, like, points at your sword.
I suspect multiple stabs in the case of a being such as this.
Well, that depends on how good you are at stabbing.
Is there any way we can actually get the god out of the avatar itself? Out of the vessel?
Not even sure that there would be an actual god in there. Usually the gods don't tend to involve themselves too much on this plane. Mostly because whenever they do, their power has the habit of dramatically changing the elemental plane in ways that everyone would definitely notice. So I do not think that there's an actual god walking on this earth.
What might it be instead? If the avatar is not of a genuine god?
Well, just a proxy of sorts. What they imagine their god would be like. It's not that it's not real, it's more that it doesn't have the destructive power of the actual god. The actual god doesn't possess it, but it is still filled with a good portion of its power.
Oh, so there is a chance that it is actually genuinely empowered by their god?
Yes.
So it wouldn't necessarily be a demon or something.
It might be. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I can't really tell you much about it. It might just be a well-crafted illusion if they have strong spellcasters. It might be a demon pretending to be the avatar. If it is a genuine avatar, then it would be their faith manifesting in the shape of their god, filled with a fraction of the power of their god, but it would not actually be their god.
What means exists beyond simply effective stabbing to counter such a being?
Well, I mean, you know, obviously employing the arts of magic. Just he like looks like he's about to go into specifics, and then he interrupts himself, and he looks at you guys and he says, "Throwing lightning or fireballs would also do it." And he says, other than that, from what I've been reading, and again, I'm not an expert on the matter at all, that's pretty much it. It remains indefinitely if it doesn't get killed. Unlike with most summoned creatures, it won't get sent back if the summoners die. So even if you were to kill the priests that called it forth, it will still remain.
Would killing the priests weaken it?
He shakes it. He's thinking about it. He says, I'm not sure. I don't know.
I suppose the question is will we actually have the power and the capability to take this down with the aid of the lizard folk, or will we be outmatched?
Maybe Alaska could help. If we, take her down.
It's a question of time.
Well, we're only scouting tomorrow. I don't think we're going straight to war tomorrow, so we might be able to scout, get information, come back, go to see the dragon, punch her lights out, and go from there.
How far away is Granny Nightshade's domain?
Well, the forest itself is about, I think it was 2 days of travel away from SaltMarsh, if you're on foot. 1 day if you're on horses and trying to be quick. And then inside of her domain, it's probably gonna take you another 2 days to get there.
Feel as
If
though
you know where you need to go.
Feel as though by the time we found Alaskar, had our tussle, came back, lizardfolk will probably be slaughtered.
Okay, well, that is probably not going to be the case then.
What about for yourself, Kaladin? Kaladek, sorry. Would you have any particular cost to come with us to aid? I mean, I don't know if we can afford it, but I certainly figure it doesn't hurt to ask.
He looks at you and he says, to fight the dragon or to fight the sahaguin?
The sahaguin.
Well, I honestly have no intention of involving myself with that particular matter.
I
And I very much doubt that you could afford me.
The problem is, actually, sorry, just real quick. Would he know anything about like the Tharizdun stuff and the amulet that we found and all that?
I mean, no one has told him,
Yeah.
and every time you talked about it, it was, I think, usually in a protected area.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, he
He would be aware of like the cults and all that sort of thing.
He seems, generally speaking, to be well informed about the things that are going on around SaltMarsh.
Yeah.
He definitely wouldn't know about a few cults. It's the question of if he knows about this particular thing.
Yeah, okay, cool. The concern that I have is if the Sahaguin wipe out the lizardfolk, which is looking very probable now, I don't think they're going to simply stop there.
No, they're probably gonna come for SaltMarsh next.
They
He looks
also
very relaxed when he says that, by the way. He looks super chill.
They also seem to have a number of connections with these various cults dedicated to Tharizdun. And I'm concerned that if they're victorious in this war, we're going to be contending with more than just cultists.
This time he doesn't even try to hide his surprise. He actually looks at you, like, just with surprise, and he says, Tharizdun. How come you know that name?
Because I came here to hunt the cultists who worship him.
There is no surviving worship of Tharizdun. There are no cults worshipping him.
Seems you need to get out of your
I wouldn't have had
tower.
any reason to come here.
Sorry, you both talked at the same time. I understood neither.
Right, you go.
Then I would have had no reason to come here.
What did you want to say, Janice?
I just poking fun at him. It's alright.
Alright. He just shakes his head and he says, well, I mean, you probably found some fools who think it's fun to pretend to pray to this deity or that deity, and they just took the scariest name they could find. But I highly doubt that they are actual worshippers of Tharizdun.
I'm going to insight check him.
All right, you're going to insight check.
Nice.
That's the highest I can roll on that.
That is a lot of insight, not gonna lie. You have a nose for cultists. You get the feeling that he definitely knows that there are cultists of Tharizdun up and about, and he's just very much trying to throw you off the trail. He's just, you know, playing it down as much as he can. He's doing a good job at it, but, you know, you talk to enough smooth talkers.
Yeah.
That you pick up on it.
Yeah. With respect, Kaladek, this isn't the first time I've been on the hunt for this kind of thing. And when it comes to gathering information and researching this sort of thing, my wife and her father are rather competent, shall we say. So it does distress me that someone such as yourself, who is as well informed as you evidently are, would be so ill-informed of this matter.
He doesn't say for a moment. Like he's thinking, and then he says, "Well, if you truly are as well informed as you claim to be, then you should know that they pose no threat to anyone. They believe they are onto something. They believe they have found the real way of resurrecting Tharizdun. But what are they gonna do? They're just a bunch of
check on that one. Not a
bunch of pumpkins. No, it's fine. Like I wouldn't even have asked you for another insight check. It's still downplaying it. He's still just not, you know.
Okay. Given my close ties with powerful wizards, do I reckon I could take him?
You reckon you could take him usually?
Yeah.
Yes. But you are in his tower.
Yeah.
And you know that fighting a wizard inside of his tower is always a bad idea until you're very confident that you can basically instantly beat him unconscious.
Yeah.
And you are not confident you can do that. You will get the feeling that he's very much just waiting for one of you to make a move.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Like, if you look around, you see, like, on the walls and on the floor, you see some very obvious runes. But especially you, Brothar, knowing wizards a lot, you know that these are most likely more like decoy runes, and they are like probably a million hidden ones around, just waiting to be activated by any sort of hostile action.
Yeah. By what means do they intend to resurrect Tharizdun? Like, what have they claimed to be the way?
He just laughs and says, "Well, shouldn't you already know, Mr. Very Well Informed?"
I mean, not proclaim to
I
be...
can answer, but it will cost you.
I did not proclaim to be informed of all the matters. I mean, if I was such, then I wouldn't have any reason to come here and speak with you.
Like I said, if you want any more information, it's gonna cost you.
What would be your price?
200 gold.
Can we cover that?
No.
Some of us can.
Yeah, some of us can indeed.
I can pitch in. How much do you need? 100?
No, if you do 100, I'll do the other 100.
Deal.
Alright. Yeah. He just takes the money and he says, well, from what I understand, they do believe that if they collect some sort of amulet, like that got apparently shattered and strewn about, and if they reunite it, they'll be able to, you know, resurrect Tharizdun. I don't think that's very much, you know, the case, but...
What methodology would be required in this process?
If they actually were trying to resurrect a banished or dead god, the sources are not quite sure about that. Well, you would need a lot of power. You would need a lot of magical energy. You would need a suitable vessel, for sure, which would need to be very powerful in itself. And you would need the knowledge, obviously. The right rituals.
What?
Which I dare say shouldn't even be around anymore. I don't think there are any books in any of the sentient races that would cover that sort of topic.
What form of power is required?
I think we
Well,
know
we're
that with some
talking-
books, Brithel.
We are talking about, well, a god, so it would be a mixture of faith and arcane energy, and a good amount of life power, life essence.
As in living sacrifices?
Well, yes, but there are ways to extract life essence from one place and bring it to another.
Such as a war.
Such as a war.
And the vessel? What would that exactly be?
Well, usually vessels like this, and again, there are not very clear, like a lot of clear sources on the matter. It's almost as if the gods, you know, don't want us mortals necessarily to know about that sort of thing. Something either very old or very innately powerful, either an ancient dragon, or he thinks and he says, well, something like a kraken, a Tarask, those things. Something that is a calamity on its own.
What of an avatar of a god?
He shakes his head and he says they are way too fragile, way too weak.
Good to know. And what are your thoughts in the event that the sahaguin win this war and march on SaltMarsh? Does that not concern you?
He just shrugs, and he says, "It doesn't really have a lot to do with me. I mean, I do have a nice setup here, but I can always just move somewhere else."